Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the Kazuna characters that are available on OPTC Global, and with the release of the Kazuna Shop, giving you guys a little bit of a better understanding of what characters you want to sort of target, and what characters are better than others and what you guys should be focusing on OPTC Global in terms of if you are missing any of these characters. So before we begin, I do want to give a huge shout out to the OPTC tier list. Link will be in the description below, and once, as always, shout out to the OPTC database for the images provided. If you guys are struggling with teams, make sure to head over there. It's the best place to build teams and have damage calculators and all that sort of stuff. So with the new feature that has come out on Global, if you guys haven't seen my other video explaining the Recollective Archive and Gather Island, there's one thing I didn't talk about in the video, and I'll leave a card for you guys if you want to check that out. But there is one thing I didn't talk about in that video, and that is the new Kazuna Shop. So in the new Kazuna Shop, now that when we play Kazuna, we get these points, and we can actually buy old Kazuna units. And we're going to take a look at the units we have on OPTC Global and sort of give you guys a better understanding of what units are very, very good, and what units you can kind of sort of leave to the back end if you guys are struggling. So before I continue, this is just my opinion. Obviously, these are all free-to-play units, which is very, very good. And if you can get most of them done, if not all of them, it's going to help you box out quite a lot. So, again, this is my opinion. It's not the be-all or end-all, but hopefully it'll give you guys some clarity on what units are worth your time and what units are worth your ticket. So I have broken it down into God level, amazing, solid, niche, and support. Some of these units are only just supports, and as you can see, there aren't many of them. So I am going to take a little bit of time talking about them individually, but I'm not going to sort of chew your ear off too much. So let's just go straight to the support section. Let's put all the supports in. We've got Bardo, we've got Perospero, we've got Margaret, we've got the dudes for Moria. What is Law and Chopper doing? Were they a Kazuna unit? I don't remember them being a Kazuna unit. Wow, okay, fair enough. So these four units were all supports. Bardo is very good. He gives you 50% damage reduction for one turn on Luffy units. All these guys are one cost tier, which is really, really handy. The Bardo is not overly essential. There are other units that can do that, but this Perospero will actually lock orbs for cerebrals for one turn, which can be very, very useful. Locking orbs is a very subtle and underrated mechanic. It can be very handy, especially in stuff like the Hawkins Forest. That's where it shines the most, as well as like Odin teams, or on like with rainbow slots, locking rainbow slots, or Semler slots as well. It can be very, very strong, and Perospero goes on cerebral units and locks cerebral slots when you use the special. Excellent, excellent support. This Margaret's very similar to the Story Vivi. She gives you an orb on the final stage and can go on any quick character, I'm pretty sure off the top of my head. But nevertheless, like any character that can give you orbs on the final stage, it's always very, very handy to have. And seeing as that she's like, she's a 20 cost unit, so she goes on any quick character, and that way she gives a quick orb. These guys here were made for Moria. Honestly, I can't even remember their names. I know they rotate orbs if you use a special. I just can't remember what orbs they rotate off the top of my head. I'm just going to quickly see if I can find them in my box, just because I actually don't remember their names at all. I cannot... Oh, there they are. Their support... once per quest, if the character uses a special, changes strength, dex, and psi characters, bomb, G, TND, slots to strength. So it's not a bad support, but if I had to rank the four of them, I definitely would put Perospero at the top. Margaret would be second, and then I imagine probably Bardo is probably going to come in at third, just because you will actually see a little bit more play with him. How come I can put that first when I don't want to? But when I do want to, it doesn't work. So I'd probably rank them a little bit like that. That's probably the best way to go. As for moving on to the actual Kazuna units now, let's have a look at the big ones. So, Zoro and Sanji is pretty solid. They can be a 2.5 times attack boost to slashers and fighters. The problem with this is fighters aren't overly great. I do apologize about that. I thought I was on mute. Slashers aren't fighters aren't overly great. And slashers have Roger. So the 2.75 times attack boost is a bit niche for them, as they need to be at full HP. Honestly, I kind of want to put them in niche, but you just can't underestimate what they do. They are a dual unit, obviously all of them are, which means that they can do some crazy things with their switch abilities. Their switch ability gives them an orb and will completely remove slot binds, so that's pretty handy to have. But otherwise, just does like a bunch of damage. Honestly, nowadays, it's pretty niche. I'm going to actually put them in the niche tier. They've got a pretty solid captain ability, but like you're not really using these guys as captains, to be honest. Boa. Boa is a 3x chain locker. Other than that, she really doesn't provide all that much. She does a 20% HP cut as well that goes through, but it doesn't go through defensive effects, and then changes all slots to Dex and Psi. So 3x chain locker for a free-to-play unit is actually, like, it's pretty solid. Any chain lock, honestly, is a good chain lock. It can get around a lot of defects, plus it doesn't count as a positive or negative buff, so it doesn't actually get removed from the enemy whenever they blow away your buff. So she's pretty solid. I don't use her all that much, but I have used her, and she can be very, very handy, especially with Kaido being a thing now. Like, versus Kaido, she's a dex unit, so she can go on that team. The Magellan now is definitely a niche unit. He gives conditional to poison, but it's only 1.3, but then he poisons at the start of every turn. Now that can be wiped away, and it is on a 20-turn cooldown. He's quite good for Kazunas to get that little bit of extra damage, but just moving forward, there are a lot of better Magellans in the game, especially with the new Legend Magellan that's coming out. I don't use this guy in any other content besides Kizuna, so he's just very, very niche to me. Halloween Sabo. Halloween Sabo was meant to come out like alongside the Clash Luffy. He locks crew slots for 1 turn, and if the crew has 6 T&D slots, he boosts strikers, fighters, and shooters slot effects by 2.25. Otherwise, he's going to boost them by 1.75 for 3 turns. He's pretty solid. If you partner him up with the Luffy gives you a full board of T&D orbs. The problem is strikers, fighters, and shooters aren't that great characters. So, like, he was great for Halloween Ace, but, like, Halloween Ace is, like, he's still passable as a captain, but, like, you're not really running him all that much. The next character we're going to talk about is Shirahoshi. This Shirahoshi is actually really good. She's amazing. Like no clap. She makes Psi and in characters type slots have matching slot effects. Then she boosts Psi and in character slot effects by 1.75. And if you hit 3 perfect, she's then going to double them the next turn. So the idea of her on a Psi and int team is she's going to give you all colors as favorable, then give you 2 turns of an orb buff. Like, what more could you want? She makes Psi and in characters recovery slots have matching effects as well, and does the same thing with T&D. So as a sub, she's really, really good for Psi and int teams. Again, with Big Mom Kaido out, with Roger running around, like, this chick can see some play. Okiku is god level. This Okiku is my favorite out of all of the units we're going to talk about today. This Okiku has double special activation. She removes 2 turns of blind and paralysis. She reduces crew's special charge by 1 turn and gives you 70% damage reduction. Remember, she has double special. So that's 2 turns of special cooldown, 2 turns of damage reduction, 4 turns of blind, or 4 turns of paralysis if you need it. She boosts slasher character's base stats by 25 and reduces her own special reverse by 2 turns. So you can see where she comes in handy. She's great for stalling. She's great for the special rewind mechanic. She is just so damn good. And with the Okikus being like not that prevalent on the game, she's really, really good. Marco and Ace. Marco and Ace, in my opinion, are god level. I love running this unit. There's a character called Bullet in the game, and this guy here makes Bullet so ridiculously strong. So damn strong. They can give a 2.75 times attack boost to strength units. They can be very, very good at removing stun as they cut your HP, and they give you a very big heal after they give you the attack boost. So you lose, if you are at very low HP and use their special, like, you don't really care about the 99% cut, right? You're already at low HP. You're just going to get a butt ton of healing, a 2.75 times attack, a removal of an attack up and a cranky face, as well as getting 100 base stats to strength characters, and making strength orbs have matching slot effects, and with a switch ability that changes unfavorable slots to strength slots. Now, that doesn't mean just like if you have strength characters that have a quick slot. If the enemy makes all dex orbs unfavorable and you switch with Marco and Ace, they're going to give you a full board of strength orbs, which is very, very strong for bullet teams or characters that can make strength orbs matching. These guys are so underrated in my opinion. I love using Marco and Ace. Like, I know they only boost strength with their special, but, like, with Bullet and stuff like that, like, you can get some absurd numbers. Koala's unfortunately pretty niche. Now, Koala does a 2 times conditional boost to defense down units. But the problem is she doesn't trigger that conditional, which is kind of annoying. She does rotate all slots into own tight, including block slots, but if your fighter is a captain, if your captain is a fighter or free spirit, she's then going to double the effects to defense down. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the defense down removal, so unless you have like a support, or if the enemy can't be defense down, she's just going to lose basically all her damage, and then she's just a block orb manipulator, really. Other than that, she doesn't see too much play. Moria. Moria is actually really, really good. So this Moria is like the introduction of the, I'm going to put him in amazing tier, by the way. He's the introduction of the, like the timing mechanic where you don't have to hit perfects, but he carries over the buff, after one turn, or sorry, 2 turns. So then that way you can carry it in with a preemptive into the next room. He changes crew's slots to strength, locks the slots, and then it boosts strength, dex, and side character slot effects by 1.75. And then after 2 turns, he does the same thing. He gives the 1.75 times orb boost. This is actually really, really strong. Getting the full board of strength orbs is not to be underrated too, especially if you have a captain that can make a full board of strength orbs matching, which is very, very strong. He also has, he makes dex and side characters. He makes dex and side slots have matching slot effects for himself, and then makes crew's strength slots have matching slot effects when strength, dex, and side characters on the crew. So he can actually give you a full board of strength orbs, and then that orb boost, which is just really, really good. He's a really good unit. He's a Moria unit. There aren't very many of them. So any like good supports for Moria, you are going to find them for him, and he's going to be very, very good. He's a very good free-to-play unit. Big Mom. Big Mom's solid. The big thing about Big Mom is she removes all beneficial effects on the crew. That's really the big reason why you use her. But she also doubles attack and boosts type effects of normal attacks for strength, quick, and int for 1.75. So if you use her special first, you can wipe away any positive effects that the enemies tried to like cuck you with. And then you can get a 2 times attack and a 1.75 times color affinity boost. It's not really used for those last two, mainly it's the beneficial effects. But if there's a lot of utility unit on the crew, she is very, very handy. And she also boosts powerhouse and fighter characters' base stats by 50, as well as not being able to be blown away. So she can definitely see some play. She's kind of like the old Cavendish units, but just like way, way better. Way, way better. She is she's better than Niche because you can use her in different ways that I just sort of don't. But she's definitely not to be underrated. We got Strength Carrot next. Strength Carrot is a little bit niche, but she's also very, very good. So I'm actually going to put her up into solid. She can reduce one enemy's HP by 15%, ignoring all defensive effects. Completely removes defense up, which is very, very good. So 99 cents of defense up, nah, Carrot don't care. And if the captain is strength or int, which are 2 of the best colors in the game, probably second and third or equal second, boosts crew's attack by 1.75 for 1 turn and boosts the chain multiplier by 1.65. She has barrier pen as well, which is very, very good. And she completely removes paralysis on herself and adds 3 times character's attack in tap timing bonuses as well. So she's amazing. If there's defense up, like she's just like, nah, like I'm getting through that easy peasy. So she's a very, very good unit, and I definitely do her. I definitely do her. I definitely max her out. Chopper and Law. I did not know Chopper and Law were a Kazuna unit. I thought they were a Clash. Alright, we're going to talk about them anyway because they're on this tier list, so they're here, right? They remove 3 turns of Crew's Paralysis, they heal 10 times recovery, and then does 5,000 end of turn healing for 2 turns and becomes Law and Chopper. Their switch ability will removes Crew's Paralysis by 1 turn and changes Crew's slots randomly unless they are matching. So, honestly, not very good. Pretty niche. I mean, there's like a worse Wako or Neko Cat or Cat Dog. But look, it is what it is. Honestly, I still don't think this is a Kazuna unit. So we're just gonna look. We're just gonna move on. All right, we're not gonna let it ruin our day, right? Luffy and Boa. Luffy and Boa are actually pretty amazing. I don't think they're the best of all the units that have come out. I do think Marco and Ace is the best out of all of them. Unfortunately, I feel bad for Luffy Sanchi, man. Like, they were already dead before they even came out. Like, shout out to my boy 3D2Y, but he called it. Like, he said it how it is. But Luffy and Boa, their switch ability isn't incredible. It's a good heal, and it gives a slot. But other than that, it doesn't really do too much else. But on, like, lore teams, that heal can be great. Plus, it's a Luffy unit that can use a lot of very good supports. Boa, obviously being a Warlord, triggers the Halloween lore super typing, so they are a very good sub for that. They give it 2.25 times color affinity boost, and they change all orbs, including block orbs, into matching types and lock slots, which again is very underrated. They deal 3 times their attack in type damage to all enemies as well, so they can be used as a wave clear mechanic. But the big reason you're using them is for their 2.25 times color affinity as for Psi and Int units. They are going to boost Psi and Int characters' base attack and HP by 100 as a crewmate, as well as make Psi and Int slots have matching slot effects for the entire crew, which is really, really good. The downside to this unit was actually their captain ability. The captain ability is just so bad. Because if you're in Luffy, you don't boost Int, and if you're in Boa, you don't boost Psi, but when you're together, you boost both. So for free-to-play players that, for whatever reason, you're using these guys as captains, that's where they fall off significantly, but they are the highest color affinity booster for both of those colors, so they have to sit in amazing for me. Like, if you're running a color affinity boost for those colors, you're running this unit, and you can use a lot of very, very good supports. Kaido is niche. Honestly, Kaido's just so bad. Kaido is literally a worse version of Ambush Garp. He will instantly kill if the enemy is below 20% HP. Otherwise, he does 1 million damage to that enemy. And then boost the chance of landing on quick slots for 1 turn, and then changes slots randomly. So you could get a full board of quick slots. You could kill an enemy if they're below 20% HP. Otherwise, you could kill them with 1 million damage. It could be good for like treasure map, I guess, for like those really easy stages. I have used him there, but otherwise he's super niche. He can't be blown away, which is awesome, and he reduces his special charge by 1 turn every time the crew takes damage. I didn't actually know that. So I guess like if you take damage, you can just pop off the 1 million damage. But 1 million damage is just so little nowadays that it's just really like not that prevalent in this day and age with the amount of HP that enemies have with the power creep. Kazuna Buggy is god level for me. I love this Buggy, man. He does. The rare recruit Buggies, they just like most of the Buggies besides Legend Buggy, it's just like they're just so good. He removes blind paralysis and despair by 5 turns, and if the captain is free spirit, changes all slots, including block slots, to character's own type. Now, I don't know about you, but that to me sounds a lot like our boy Stampede Buggy, and you know where I put Stampede Buggy on our rare recruit tier list. So, full orb block manipulation if your captain is free spirit, which most of the very good units are. Blind, Despair, and Paralysis. Very, very good combination for 5 turns. And he boosts Free Spirit and Driven base attack by 50, as well as making his own strength and quick slots have matching slot effects. He's really, really good. Really, really good. He's got Recovery Blind Removal. He's got Slot Blind Removal. He's a very, very good free-to-play unit, and I would definitely invest in him. Sakazuki and Borsalino. Now, Sakazuki and Borsalino are the newest big Kazuna unit on OPTC Global, so we can't really finish them just yet. They have only been out once, but in terms of how good they are actually really, really strong. So it's going to be hard to rank them for now, but they deal 100 times the character's attack in non-type damage to all enemies, which ignores defensive effects, and if the captain is strengthened Psi, boosts Driven and Slashes slot effects by 2.75. If it doubles the Driven and Slashes character's slot effects for 2 turns otherwise. If your captain is not Strength or Psi, you still get a 2 times Orb boost, and if they are, you get a 2.75 times Orb boost. Now, this character works amazingly with Roger. If you're missing Odin, this is the character you guys want to be your Orb booster on your team when this character is maxed out. For 2 turns, they become Sakazuki and Borsalino. Their switch ability removes Slot Bind and Special Bind for your crew by 1 turn. And if you guys have all of the Strength and Psi Legend / Rare Recruits, so Inven Clay, Luffy Sanji, Dogcat, these guys, and Mihawk Perona, you can actually run all of the 10-star Garb challenges with that exact same team and get all the colors done. For me, this character is god level. This character is ridiculously good. For some reason, they always make a kind who's really, really strong, and free-to-play characters aren't any difference whatsoever. So, as Sakazuki, there aren't any crewmate abilities, but they do have quite a decent captain ability for Driven and Slasher units, 2.75 when you are Sakazuki, and when you are Borsalino, it's exactly the same. They just make Strength and Psi Orbs have matching slot effects. In their dual form, they're 3.75, so they're a pretty good unit. Unfortunately, though, we can't get them to max limit break, which means their special is going to be very, very high. At the moment, mine isn't max special, and it's level 28 turns, which is just absolutely absurd. The final unit we're going to talk about is Kid. His kid is amazing. He is very, very good for speed farming content or being very, very lazy with content. As for 4 turns, if your captain is strength or int, he does 200 times his attack as end of turn damage, which is great because he has the limit break that he starts with his special. He's then going to give 1 turn of special charge to int and strength units, as well as remove defense up and threshold by 3 turns. Now, the really good thing about this is he removes special reverse by 2 turns. So if you get the special reduction, like annoying debuff, you can actually remove it with his special, or you can use him in a speed farming kind of way. He also boosts int base stats by 75, as he is an int unit as well. He does have enrage, but he does have like use outside of just speed farming content. So this kid is actually amazing. He's just basically a direct replacement for the old Colosseum kid. But yeah, that's going to conclude the tier list. So having a look at the top, we do have Borsalino, Sakazuki, Marco and Ace, Okiku and Buggy. If I had to rank them in terms of like what are the units to do like ASAP, I honestly putting Okiku first. I would actually put Okiku first. I would have Marco and Ace second, Buggy, not Buggy first. Okay, well, I suck at moving characters around, as you guys probably know if you've seen my other tier lists. Buggy would come third. Oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse my French. Apologies if you're French. There we go. So it would look something like this. Mainly, like, Borsalino and Sakazuki, I do think is better than, like all of these units, to be honest. But because we can't max them out yet, they are going to sort of sit at the end. As for the amazing tier, I would focus on Luffy and Boa, as they are very, very good. Kid, if you're looking for a speed farming unit, is very, very good. Carrot, I would probably put down the end here, as she is... Oh my god, Carrot, just go down the end here. No? Okay, I guess not. Well, let's go like this. Let's go like this. No, okay. I'd probably put Shirahoshi and, well, I'd probably put Shirahoshi actually just above Moria, because Sai is actually a little bit of a better color than strength. But either or are very, very good. As for these solid units, honestly, take your pick. If you're at this point, just pick one. I would say probably Big Mom is probably... Honestly, Big Mom would probably be on the cuff of amazing. But because she removes beneficial effects, that can be a bad thing for you as well. As for niche, you probably don't really need to use these guys. Honestly, I would do Luffy... sorry, not Luffy. I would do Sanji and Zoro, to be honest. Like, just for, like, nostalgia. Like, they're the first... The downside to them, they're the first Kazuna unit. But they were just dead before they even came out. Other than that, like... Honestly, Magellan's probably the best because you can actually see a lot of play with him. Koala, honestly, you just leave to the end, and same with the Kaido unit, to be honest. As for the supports, I already did that one for you guys. But yeah, like I said, that is going to wrap up my tier list today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope it helped you guys in some sort of way. If it did, consider going down there and belting the like button for me. And if you're new to my channel as well, consider hitting that big red subscribe button as well. But guys, most importantly, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, guys, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lates!